Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Solana. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to watch that. It's going to be linked in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Now let's jump straight into the TA. And before we actually do that, I quickly want to mention the donation link down below in the description. You know that there is an ongoing genocide right now. I'm not going to name any names because they're going to shadow ban me and they're going to potentially, block my channel. So feel free to check out the link in the description and help out any way you can. And let's continue on. Taking a look at the daily chart, you can see that there is a very nice uptrend that we started with this low that we printed in December 2022, which is actually our bear market low. And ever since then, we have been printing higher lows. And that is a bullish thing, obviously. And we have also been printing higher highs. That is essentially what an uptrend consists of. Now, we do have a few support blocks down here. As you can see, we've covered these throughout the last year. We've given you these levels way before we actually dropped down to them. So this was a level that we gave you between $9.86 down to $7.66. If you manage to get in at this point in time, right now you're almost up 4x. That's what we do here on the channel. We give you nice support levels for entries. We also gave you this level here at $14.38. As you can see, it was retested very nicely in June. And from there, you're up approximately 150%. And we also gave you this upper level of the channel at $18.25. From there, you're up approximately 100%. So right now, I would not be buying into Solana. Not a financial advice, of course, but I would not be buying into Solana simply because it has been on a massive rally since September. So like I said, since this move, since this low in September, we've done a 2x already. So we need to cool off just a bit. And also we are running into this trading range that we have over here. This is where we kind of traded sideways for a bit before we capitulated in November 2022. And we're sort of coming back into that area and just retesting it as resistance. I don't think we're going to be breaking above $50. Hopefully we can do that in January. But as of right now, I think this move is getting exhausted already and we're going to see a pullback. So don't expect us to continue this forever because there is going to be a pullback down the line and I want you to be ready for that. So that's why I would not be buying into this because we are potentially going to be looking at a pullback of approximately 27%. That is if we're going to be expecting a back test of these previous resistance touches that we had. So we retested $26 way back here in January. Then we did another back test in February and then once again in March. We had a bit of a fake out here in July and then we broke out in October. And hopefully we can back test that as support and start trading sideways above those levels. That would be a very good entry point. Now that will bring us below the 20 EMA right now. So I would not be targeting the 20 EMA for entries simply because it's getting overextended already from the 55 EMA and there's a huge gap in between the price and the 20 EMA. So I think once we'll have the pullback, we're gonna probably drop below that. So the 55 EMA on the daily would be a great entry point. So please don't FOMO in. Right now we're sitting at pretty much the highest prices that we've had since the start of the year. Yeah, this is pretty much the all-time high in 2023. So don't be buying in these huge pumps. You want to be buying down here. That's exactly what we're doing here on the channel. That's exactly what we have been doing on our Patreon. Some of the coins have already done a 2x to a 10x. So feel free to check that out down below in the description if you want to know what I'm buying and when I'm buying. Now, personally, I haven't bought any Solana because I was looking at other altcoins and I really don't like how centralized Solana is. And if we take a look at the weekly chart now, just so we can see the bigger picture. And before we continue with the video, I quickly want to mention my Patreon that's linked down below in the description. If you enjoy my content, you want to get more exclusive content, and you want to support me at the same time, definitely feel free to check out the Patreon, because you're going to get a 7-day free access on my Patreon and an instant access to all of my content since October 2021, which is when I started. You'll get access to content like exclusive weekly podcasts, and we're starting to invite guests already. We have 40 plus low cap gem posts. We have a bunch of project reviews. We have a bunch of resources that are going to help you save time and make more money with this upcoming bull market. So this is definitely a great exchange of value for the both of us. And once again, there's a 7-day free trial. Feel free to check it out. You can leave anytime, and let's continue with the video. Taking a look at the weekly chart, I know it looks a bit messy, but I don't think it's going to be that hard for you to understand what's going on. We have a Fibonacci retracement set up from the swing low in December all the way up to the swing high in November 2021. And we have successfully broken above the 0.236, and we also had a pretty nice and swift back test of support, and we started pumping from there. So we bounced off the 0.236. So down the line, if we're going to be having any capitulations, any flash crashes, that is going to be a massive support level for us. So feel free to set up some buy limit orders in case you have some spare cash flowing around and you don't want to necessarily buy anything right now. You can set up some buy limit orders at around about $21.35. Now, we also have this ascending support trend line that we've created back in January 2023. We had a nice back test of support in June and another back test in September, a bit of a fake out. As you can see, we did close a few candles below the actual support, but then we started pumping. So this is still a pretty good level for you to target if you still don't have any Solana and you want to get into it at a good price. A retest of that is going to be a nice entry point for you. We could potentially land, on see it 23.5 to 24 bucks is the lowest point based on this trend line that we could get before the end of the year. Obviously, if things go south, we can obviously lose that. So that doesn't mean that we are obligated to hold it, but mathematically speaking, if you had 3 bounces already, another bounce could be coming in the near future after the correction that we're going to have after the retracement here. Now, the red block here is a resistance level that we had, and this is the trend line that I showed you at 26 bucks on the previous daily chart. On the weekly, it looks stronger, and we want to come back down to that red block and back test it. We could simultaneously back test the red block and the support trend line. That would also be fine. And as you can see, we are breaking above the 0.382 fib, which is sitting at $34 roughly. I think this is going to be a fake out. I think we're going to end up coming back down and retesting some of the levels that I just mentioned. Of course, the 20 MA on the weekly is going to be a massive level for us to backtest, because if we are heading into the bull market, which I don't think we are quite yet, but holding the 20 MA as support is absolutely necessary, because if we're going to be dropping below the 20, that could mean that we're at least going to be retesting $21.35, which is the 0.236 Fibonacci retracement. So as long as we are holding the 20, we should be fine. But of course, a lot of macro factors are coming into play when we're talking about financial markets. So we could have a flash crash any time of the year, and you should always have some spare cash in case that happens. Now, if we do get a bullish cross on the weekly chart, which is when the 20 EMA crosses above the 55, historically, that is a massive, massive bull market sign. So this actually could be the beginning stages of the bull market. Arguably, we are out of the bear market for Solana, because I don't think we're going to be coming back down to $10 unless there is a massive capitulation across the markets. I'm not only talking about crypto, but I'm talking about the S&P 500 as well. In that case, all of the altcoins are going to be bleeding like crazy. Now, if we're talking about some targets to look forward to in 2024, and if we are going to assume that we're going to be seeing a pretty strong alt season in the first half of 2024, we could potentially see a retest of $73 here, which is the golden ratio. And this, as you know, is the most important Fibonacci level on the entire chart, and this is one of the most important and strongest resistance levels. So back testing this and getting rejected is not the best thing ever, and usually that means that we are going to be on our way back down to the low of $10, because essentially what happens is you print a high, you come back down, you print a lower high, and then you come back down even lower, right? But that's what happens during bear market. So because the sentiment is going to be changing with the back test of the golden ratio, we aren't necessarily going to be expecting a move all the way back down to the local low here that we printed in December. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, technically speaking, yes, if you get rejected off the golden ratio, there's going to be a strong pullback from there. But like I said, we're not in a bear market anymore, so we shouldn't be seeing a massive 90% correction from the $73 price. But be ready for anything in the markets. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor, as I keep saying. If we take a look at the oscillators here, you can see the stochastic is already in the overbought. So this is why I would not be getting into it right now. As you can see, if you take a look at every single time we were in the overbought, the price did end up correcting from there. Now, if we zoom into the RSI on the weekly, you can see we had a very good buying opportunity here with this red support block that we had on the charts for months. And if you were paying attention and you had those set up on your chart, you could have got in here at the start of October once we had that pullback. And also this pink trend line is something that we were targeting, but we didn't get a proper back test. We kind of tried to do that, but we ended up pumping. So there is still a chance for us to continue pumping slightly higher than what we're doing right now, and we could get into the overbought even above 70, 75, 80 on the index. Depends on how bullish we get. But like I said, I don't think we're going to be getting to $50, but I could be wrong, obviously, but I'm just looking at it from a logical standpoint. There is really nothing that is going to be pushing Solana right now, unless there is some specific bullish news coming out regarding the project. But overall, I'm not expecting $50 this year. I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong, because if Solana goes up, people make money. That's good. Now, we could also measure this move over here from the low in September to the high in July. And you can see we are reaching the 1.618 target at $35. And usually when that happens, that tells us that the technical target has been met after you broke above the local high and you're getting a bit overextended. So the maximum that I would be expecting here is $40.84, which is the second fib level. And keep in mind, you have a lot of trading range in here. So this is where a lot of people are going to be taking profits, because this is where they bought in before the crash. So they've been holding throughout this entire year just to sell, at $40. So please don't FOMO in at $40, guys. I'm not a financial advisor, once again, but you don't want to be buying when you're having these massive pumps. And that should be it for this video. I want to thank you all for watching. Let me know if you're buying into Solana. Let me know if you have already bought in. What are your targets to the upside during the bull market? Thank you very much once again. Stay safe and goodbye.